Does anybody feel like they just can't catch up financially? Like, do you feel like you just work so hard, but yet you're just not really getting anywhere financially? Like, your money is just not really getting you where it used to get you back in the day? That is because of this simple concept. And not only do people that don't make six figures feel this, people that make six figures feel like this too. Exhausted, tired, worn out. And the reason is because our currency is being devalued every single day. So you guys remember back in like elementary school, we could go to the store with $1 and get a bag of chips or get a hot dog, and $1 could take us far at the grocery store back then. And today, $1 can't take you anywhere. And that is because when there's so much of something that's available, it makes it lose its value. And that's what's happening to our currency. So what do I mean by this? Let's say that there's one Chanel bag out of 10 in the entire world. Because there's only 10 Chanel bags, right, in the entire world, the value of one is going to be very high. Now let's compare that to the price of one Chanel bag out of 100,000 in the entire world. That cost of the bag is going to be way cheaper than the Chanel bag that's only 1 out of 10. That's the same concept that comes with money. The government prints currency and prints money and prints dollars whenever they want to, which makes the value of our dollars go down. This is how the rich people are beating this feeling. They are buying Bitcoin. I'm buying Bitcoin. There's only gonna ever be 21 million Bitcoin, right? Ever made in the entire world. And when you put it in the terms of the same way that I just explained with the bag, it makes sense why the price is going up so fast. And it's also a reason why you need to adopt this mindset and start doing your research on Bitcoin, because this is what's going to save you. And no, it's not too late. No, it's not too expensive. One day it was $13 and now it's over $100,000. What do you think is going to happen next?
What am I doing wrong? I work every day and I'm still broke. Like, I have a decent job. I make some decent money, but I live out here in Cali. Like, bro, as soon as I get paid, I have all these bills stacked up, bro, that shit wipes me clean. Like, fuck, I got no money left over. Making $100,000 a year doesn't get you anywhere nowadays. And then moving to Houston, moving to Texas, any other type of state, guys, like, fuck that. I'm not gonna fucking move there. There's gotta be a better way for me to make more fucking money, or the things that cost so much money need to go fucking down. One or the other.
I just want to say that it's fucking wild that as a 2-income household, my husband and I have come to the realization we can't afford groceries right now. Like, straight up can't afford groceries. Because if we buy groceries, then we either won't be able to pay our rent or our electric bill, because both of those come out of this pay cycle and they will take the entire pay cycle. That's fucking bonkers. That's so fucking wild. We have 2 incomes and we cannot afford to eat, and we don't even have kids. Like, it's literally just the 2 of us and we can't afford to eat with 2 incomes. That is just, but I mean, I guess, that means we won't have to wash dishes because our dishwasher is still broken, as it has been for 2 months at the place that we pay so much in rent. Wild.
Our society that has literally, we're at the brink where 2 out of 3 people in this country do not have any savings. They are paycheck to paycheck. They have absolutely no cash on hand. They are one disaster. They are one flat tire. They're one whatever from losing their apartment, being homeless. It just makes you wonder, like, how sustainable is this? So
it's not sustainable at all. There used to be a point in time where you could be a full-blown drug addict and still afford a place to live and hold a job down. That used to be real. There was a point in time where there were pensions and a 401k did work and Social Security did work. So you could go bust every month, even if you were just paying towards your Social Security. And it's like, I got a pension with my job. So I could just remain flatlined all the way until retirement. And then I got a pension. I got my Social Security, got you a little bit of shit in the 401k. That used to be a thing. Like, you could literally stay not saving any money because you were saving money through a pension. Think about that for a second. But this is a long time ago, okay? That shit's been out the window. And anybody who has a pension now, good for you.
As I'm growing older, I'm just seeing, like, all these jobs I work at, like, don't really mean much. Like, it just helps pay my bills and helps me, like, stay afloat and pays for the roof on my head. But it's like, what else does it give? And I think that's what a lot of people are realizing is, like, you get like 25 or 30 bucks an hour, if not more, maybe even 100 grand. But it's like, shit, what can I get with it when everything is so expensive these days? Houses are 500 grand and they're shitty. In some areas, maybe 300 grand, and depending on the area. But it's like, is it really worth it for some house? You're paying so much for just, like, to live or like own something, and like all these taxes and insurance and bills, it's just like, holy shit, what am I even working for? And that's why I'm just seeing like a lot of homeless people like that just give up. Like, it's crazy.
Hi, I want to talk about all the things I can't afford right now. We can start with my glasses. I don't know if you can see, they're scratched to shit. They've been scratched since last October, but I ran out of contacts, and my insurance doesn't cover my eye appointment, so not sure what to do about that. Those are usually about at least $300. What else? I need a new catalytic converter. Those cost about $1,500, $2,000. Not sure where that money's gonna come from. It could just be like, fuck it, I don't need a car, but I live in LA. Oh, what else? Oh, that's right. I just came back from a vet appointment for my dog. We went to an animal dentist because she needs dental work. And I got an estimate for the amount of dental work she would need. It's about $3,000. She needs 4 teeth extracted and a cleaning. So, did I mention I also owe $3,000 to the IRS? Yeah, that's on top of the $3,000 that I owe from the 2021 tax season. I've paid that down to about $1,000, but yeah, still paying it off. So that's about like $4,000 that I owe to the government. The government that's going to kick in my student loans in September. $40,000. Also, I'm supposed to travel this summer, so I'll need a pet sitter. That's about $50 a day. I'll be gone for about 2 weeks. Before you guys are like, well, you can't like just travel when you're broke. You can't like summer in Greece. Bitch, I'm going camping with my friends. And then I'm visiting my family. I want to be able to visit my family. Don't come for me being like, well, you live in LA. If you lived in somewhere that was less expensive, you would be able to afford all this. Sure, I could live in Boise, Idaho, but Boise, Idaho doesn't have the career opportunities that I want. And also, are people in Boise, Idaho doing any better than I am right now? I don't think so. People in America seem not well. And if you are doing well, living under 100K in a major city, I want to talk to you. Like, are you just going home at the end of the day and just like drinking water and playing tiddlywinks? Is that what everyone's doing? I should learn how to play tiddlywinks.
I am literally broke and it is so frustrating. I really want to talk about like a couple things of like what's making me struggle financially. I know right away people are going to be like, just get a job, like, you know, save the money, blah, blah, blah. I just have such a hard time like keeping a stable job. And it's not because I'm lazy. It's not because I don't want to work. It's because like I have so many freaking mental obstacles that get in the way and literally preys on my downfall. It's the fact that I get in my own head so much, I create my own panic attacks. Like, it's bad. And then I want to cry and I can't stop crying. It's embarrassing. Like, it is. But now the consequences is that I don't have money. So I've been door dashing. I've been looking into like little things that I can do, which the door dashing's fine, but it's like, I don't have gas money to drive. And it's just like, ugh, like there's no possible way of me saving money. And here's another thing. I literally don't buy anything. I wear the same clothes. Like, I have my set pairs of clothes that I like to wear, which like I know a lot of girls my age are like, shop, shop, shop. I can't shop because I'm not even gonna wear it. I'm probably just gonna be like in sweatshirt and sweatpants or something. I don't buy things I don't need. I'm literally doing Project Pin to get all of my like skincare stuff and like all that out of the way. And I've gone through so much of it. Like, I need new stuff, but I'm not gonna buy it because I can't. Ugh, I don't know. I've been trying to push through the fact that I'm broke, but like I can't. I can't do anything. That's just literally, I need some tips. I need some tricks. I need people to Venmo me because I'm struggling. I can't drive anywhere. I'm literally a community college student and I just, I want to move out. Like, I want to like do all these things. Like, it's so frustrating. I have so many goals that I just cannot reach financially.
How are y'all making it? No, literally, how are y'all making it? Because little backstory, I decided back in January that I was going to monetize on this app. Every dollar I made, no matter how big, how small, was going to go to a savings account, and that was going to be money for a down payment on our house. Because if you don't know, me, my husband, and our 2 kids are living with my parents. Spoiler alert, that's not happening. We're having to take that money I'm making and use it to get by until the next week, on top of my husband's income. My husband's making the most money he's ever made And this is the brokest we've ever been. Make it make sense. I'm not a bougie bitch. I might get my lashes done, but my friends do my hair. I don't get my nails done. Like, I'm really not that high maintenance. We try to live within our means. We truly do. It's like no matter how much you don't go out to eat, no matter how much you don't spend money, you're still gonna be broke. Why? Because that is the world that we live in. So I know I'm not as educated as I should be when it comes to voting. All I know is that shit was a lot better 4 years ago. I could afford to breathe and I had my own house. Right now, nobody can afford housing. Nobody can afford food. And if you can, congratulations, because you're far and few. So please, please, for the love of God, take that into consideration come November and make a change, because I am tired. I am tired of living like this.
About a month ago, I decided to come clean and confess to my husband about $45,000 worth of credit card debt that I had racked up all by myself. He knew nothing about it. Now, although that was one of the hardest conversations I've ever had to have with my husband, let me tell you how freeing and exhilarating it actually was, because it felt like a weight had been lifted off of my shoulders. Holding that secret and being dishonest was so hard and so draining. Credit card debt can be very overwhelming, and it was becoming so much more overwhelming because I felt like I was fighting it on my own. So I want you to know, if you are struggling with something like this, you are not alone, and there is ways out. I have created a workbook, and it's called From Debt to Freedom. I'm super excited because it's the first digital product that I've actually created. And it says your journey starts here. This workbook is designed to get you started on your journey from debt to financial freedom. What I've included in this workbook is tips, tricks, things in there that really had me thinking about why I was making these bad financial decisions over and over again. So if you're struggling with something like this, you can head to the link in my bio and you can download this workbook to help you get started on your journey to becoming debt free. If you haven't already, hit that follow button, because my husband and I would love the support of following us on our journey to pay off over $45,000 worth of credit card debt that he knew nothing about.
Hi, I'm Abby. I'm 29. I'm an accountant practicing financial literacy. I have about $18,600 between two lines of credit, my student loans, and my consumer debt, which is my car. I absolutely love that in 2025, transparency in between numbers and debt and all of that seems to be a trend that is going to follow us into the new year. I think that's really exciting. Disclaimer before I dig into my numbers, I know I'm in a very blessed position. I worked really hard to get here. This is what I studied, so it kind of comes naturally to me, but I'd love to share any tips and tricks if that is something anybody would be interested in. I know people like the debt payoff breakdown. I am focusing more on my savings as, you know, I'm going into the next step of life, buying a house, getting married, doing all the things. Savings is more of my focal point. And I can do that because I have managed to get on the better side of interest on both of my loans. On my student loan, I paid all the way through forbearance. So actually I don't owe anything on my student loan. Obviously interest still accrues. I'm at a pretty small interest rate, I think in between 3.375 and 5.5% on the rest of my loans. I have about $9,600 left on that loan. I will actually just continue to pay my minimum payments on there because I am on the better side of interest. So right now my money does more for me going into my high yield and my savings accounts than it would be to throw extra at my debts that are already going to dwindle down pretty quickly. My car loan has about $8,600 left on it last time I checked. I am on the better side of interest there. My interest rate is 6.67, which is not great, but I'll take it because my payment is about $360 and about $300 of that does go to the principal balance itself. So I'm not going to fight that. I will keep that at the minimum as well. Like I said, my main priority here is to really build my savings account, because as a 29-year-old looking to establish themselves, it seems more daunting to try to save than it would be to try to pay off debt. Because again, like I said, I'm in a very blessed position. I can do this because I do have only two lines of debt. I have one consumer line and one student loan line. I do have rolling balances on my credit cards. I use my credit cards for absolutely every purchase that I make. I really try to take advantage of cash back. And I pay them off in full every 2 weeks when I get paid. I have a notebook that I literally track everything in. I don't know if you can see any of that, but I track everything. If you're interested in a payday routine or a debt payoff plan or a savings tracker or anything, let me know. I think that those would be fun to make. I just really thought it would be fun to be part of the financial transparency conversation that's going on, because this is what I do and this is what I live for. I did for a living. Like, this is what I went to school for. And it's just really fun for me to dissect numbers and I love watching everybody's videos. So I wanted to join in, even though my story is a little bit different. If you have any questions, please let me know. Other than that, I'm going to keep watching everybody's debt breakdowns and all the good stuff. I love watching people DoorDash to pay off their debt. I love watching people Instacart to pay off their debt. I love paycheck breakdowns. I think this is going to be kind of like a hyperfixation of mine. Like, it already has been, but I love that there's more content out there about it now. But yeah, I just wanted to be a part of the conversation. If you do have any questions, please let me know. If not,
today is one of those days. I am a lot in debt. And I don't make enough money for me to be in this much debt.
Girl, yes, I am in $63,000 worth of debt, most of that being credit card debt. So let's just get into it. Casey, I'm a 30-year-old mom of two who also owns a mini farm, and my husband and I moved to our dream house in 2023, at the end of 2023. And since then, and even before then, I have racked up a ridiculous amount of credit card debt because I like to make myself feel better by buying things that I probably shouldn't. And I was living outside of my means, and I'm terrible with money. Well, I was terrible with money. I'll be the first to admit. So let's just lay all that out right now. I know that this is ridiculous. I know that I've put myself in a really shitty spot, but this is all my fault and I have to take full responsibility. So I am putting myself out there to do these challenges, to do these series, to try to make money off of social media because I know it's possible. I've seen it change people's lives. And I just want to see if it'll work for me because I want to explore every possible avenue of trying to get out of this debt that I put myself in. I also want to mark that my husband is very good with money and none of this is really his fault. The credit card debt is solely mine. There are 2 loans on here that both of us had agreed to, which I'll get into in a couple minutes. If you're not interested in learning about all the mistakes that I've made when it comes to financial stability and financial decisions, then you can just scroll on. But if you're someone who's struggling with your finances, stay put because you're not alone and a lot of us are struggling out here. So let's get into it. I'm about $63,000 in the hole, and a lot of that being credit cards. So I have 3 credit cards. I have a Chase card, I have a Care credit card, and I have an American Express, which I hate. The American Express card, I will put a side note in. We will be paying that off soon, thank God. My husband and I were able to get in a forbearance with our mortgage, which if you don't know that, it's where we have 6 months where we don't have to pay the mortgage and they tack it on our end of our mortgage loan. So we could save up 6 months worth of mortgage payments to pay off some debt. Pay that card off soon, thankfully. So that will take away from the debt that I'm currently in. So if I take that debt away from the rounded up number of $63,000, because it's $62,929.71 if you want to be exact, I would only be about $56,000 in debt because I have about $6,400 on the Amex card. But anyway, I digress. So the Chase card I've had pretty much my entire teenage adult life. My dad opened that credit card for me when I was in high school to put gas on just to start building my credit. Since then, obviously, I've used it for things that I didn't need. I have a Care credit card that I use for all of our animals. Full emergencies go with that, which I have about $4,400 on there between all 5 of our animals. The next 3, I'm going to have to explain a little bit. So we do have a loan for a Generac. We did get a full house generator because in this house, we've lived here since October of 2023 and we have lost power almost every time we get a storm. And sometimes it's more for 24 hours. It could be even upwards of 72. The longest we were out of power was about 3.5 to 4 days. So after the 3rd or 4th time that we lost power, we decided that we should look into a generator because it's something that made sense because we have 2 young kids. And I have animals in here, but that's about a $15,000 loan. Now, this next one I'm going to explain to you. Y'all are going to think I'm stupid, but you have to hear me out. I have about $16,400 worth of debt for windows in a house that I no longer live in. Previous house in Pennsylvania, when we moved in, it had been vacant for a year. The windows were probably older than I am, and they leaked and you could barely open them. So we decided to new windows through the entire house. And that was about an $18,000 feat. Obviously, we didn't have $18,000 to just pay somebody, so we got a loan. When we moved out of that house into this house, the money that we made from the sale of our previous house where the windows are, we used that money to pay off our cars. So my husband and I don't have a car payment, which I'm extremely grateful for, because we'd be out of this house at this point if we had a car payment. Between our two car payments, we probably paid about $1,200 to $1,300 a month between the two cars. So we decided to take the money we made from the sale of our old house to pay off our cars, so we would have more money to go towards this mortgage, because the mortgage of this house is very high because we bought at a terrible time and our interest rate is 7%. So I'm not going to tell you exactly how much we pay in a mortgage out of respect for my husband, because he doesn't really like talking about finances. So me even doing this is a little like, but most of this is my debt and my fault, and I'm not going to like fault him for it. So the reason I didn't pay off the windows is because we paid off the cars, and the window payment monthly is only $240. So it made more sense to pay off the cars and have $1,300 extra a month than it did to pay off the windows and only have $240. Next loan is about $14,800, and that is just in consolidated debt from things that were years ago. So that's the consolidation loan from previous debt. So in total, I have about $62,929.71. And I would love to start paying that off. So again, like I've mentioned in the beginning of this video, I'm terrible with money, but in the last couple months, I've really gotten better at that because my credit cards are maxed out. So I don't have anything to lean on. You know, if I don't have the money, I can't buy it. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. I've gotten a lot better. I've been able to really think about things like when I'm buying them, I really ask myself, like, will this make a difference in our day-to-day life? Or is this just something that I'm seeing online? Or is overconsumption just getting to me? And I've really been able to do a lot better with that. We do have a lot of animals. I do have 2 horses. All of you are probably like, why the fuck did you get all these animals then? I have a lot of mental illness, okay? I have a lot of anxiety, a lot of depression, PTSD, those types of things. And the animals help me. So I've always wanted some of these things. We were able to figure it out and squeeze it in. Am I being squeezed to my absolute limit, paycheck to paycheck, sometimes more than paycheck to paycheck? Yes. But I will say the animals kind of pay for themselves. So like the chickens, we sell a lot of eggs. That pays for the feed for almost all of our animals. So the animals kind of even themselves out at that point. That's where I'm at. So this is day 9 of me posting every day, but it's the first day that I'm going to go. I did a deep dive into my financials and why I want to pay off all this debt. I would love to have some extra money just to be able to put my girls in some extra things. We do have a great support system. We do have family that's able to help. But, you know, we want to do this on our own. So you can make money off of social media. I'm doing what everybody else is doing, and I'm trying. Obviously, I can't start monetizing on this app until I hit 10,000 followers. So that's kind of my goal right now, is to hit 10,000 followers so we can start chipping away at this debt. So I'll keep you guys updated. I will still do farm videos every day. I will try to do farm videos every day, if not every other day, but I also will post some mom content too, kind of whatever I'm feeling. There's no real niche here, but yeah, I'm in a lot of debt, and I know a lot of people are. So I just want to let y'all know you're not alone. And if you want to learn from my mistakes, hit that follow button, because we learning here.
This is sick. And look how much it is. This is sick.
It's official, guys. Walmart has removed the self-checkout counter from my store. Now, the only people who can use self-checkout is Walmart Plus members. Now, mind you, I'm the crazy one, right? This company that has hundreds of billions of dollars is now charging you a yearly fee to check out your own groceries. And now, as the lines are longest down the store, they're not going to pay more employees to work. They're not going to give employees cash registers that work and are updated and efficient. Every time you come, you try and work with a cashier, they're standing there trying to get the machine to work. And now you have to pay a yearly fee, and it's not even like it's cheap like Costco.
Do y'all feel guilty when you go grocery shopping? Like the pit in my stomach, I don't even know how to explain it. It's like, you know how they say like you get butterflies? It's like the opposite of butterflies. Like the pit in my stomach that I feel after I go grocery shopping is like appalling. It's like, I understand that inflation is through the roof with groceries, and I shop around and I try to budget around, but literally the past month for sure, every time I go grocery shopping, it's just the pit of my stomach. I'm like, I feel guilty that I'm paying the amount of money I'm paying for groceries. Like, I literally sit there and I'm thinking to myself, like, I can't just casually go in the grocery store and just buy whatever I want, because in the back of my head, when I'm budgeting or I'm thinking how I'm spending this money, I'm thinking to myself, are you serious? Like, just price-wise, like all these different things, like, and then you know what's crazy is we have to settle for this. We have to accept and settle and swallow what the prices are for stuff. Who else feels guilty when they're grocery shopping? Like, it's in the pit of my, it's like worse than paying your car payment or your rent or mortgage.
Why the fuck is everything so fucking expensive? I just came back from Chick-fil-A and I bought 3 sandwiches, no meals, no combos, no fries, no fucking drink, nothing, just fucking plain old sandwiches. Why the fuck did I pay $17 for 3 fucking sandwiches? Ni siquiera un pinche fry, un pinche drink, nada, man. Like, puta madre, like, I don't even know how I'm doing it out here.
Y'all, groceries done got freaking expensive. Just this little bit, mainly for like this weekend, $215. That's all I got. Just this right here. I don't even eat that much. This is just like mainly for my kids and stuff. But these prices are ridiculous. These eggs were like $9 and something. Freaking crazy. That bag of pizza rolls, $6 and something. I mean, are you kidding me right now? It makes you not even want to eat that much because you ain't got the money to go buy more groceries. Freaking crazy.
If you want to know how we're doing in the US and how America's doing right now, that's my breakfast. It consists of, what are these? Club crackers, butter, and Colby Jack cheese from a bag, and a diet green tea that I bought. That was probably too expensive, but I bought it anyway. Yeah, this is it, folks.
Is it tariffs? Is it price gouging? Look at these prices in my small hometown of Aurora, Washington.
Guys, I got ripped off at the thrift store. Underneath is the sticker from the other store. I don't even know what store it is. $125. Right? $125 and I paid $2.99. That is the biggest ripoff. And I'm really sad about it. Like, I know I've been probably getting ripped off at the thrift store, but I just feel like this one really is bothering me right now because the price is right there. So, thanks, Goodwill.
Fucking $60 for a JanSport? Those used to be $30, $35, and you didn't even look fucking cool in the JanSports.
Only the ROTC freaks and the weirdos had the Swisky backpacks or the High Sierras, and it cost you about $100 just to look like what, a fucking freak?
Notice how you don't see any North Face backpacks. Back then they were $120 for the fucking Jester. Now what are they, probably $250, $260?
I'm a third-year medical student with 1 whole year of med school left, and this is my current student loan debt. Let's talk about it and talk about some of the factors that go into making this number so high. One thing is I do not have any debt for my undergrad education. I went in-state, I had scholarship, I worked as an RA, I worked my ass off to make sure I had no debt before starting medical school. Now, this is purely from medical school, but I will say I am an osteopathic medical student and I go to a private institution. Those two things right there make my school more expensive than some others. But one thing I think people need to keep in mind when they see numbers this high is that the average med school debt is around $227,000 when people graduate. But I know a lot of people in school who are not taking out any loans or in any debt. So you have a number of people that have no debt that kind of skew that number a lot. Now, some recent studies I've read say that up to 30% of graduates of med school come out with no debt at all. So that is, I think, a big reason why that number is way lower than what you would expect. Now, another factor to consider when looking at this giant number is my interest rates over here. Because a lot of these loans are grad plus loans, that means that they're unsubsidized and they accrue interest while I am in school. For example, this loan down here at $32,000 at our interest rate of 9% means it will accrue $3,000 in 1 year. This 49 one goes up by about, I think it was like $3,500 in a year at the 7% interest rate. When I look at this number, I am less scared about the big number on the top and I am more afraid of the interest rates because my first year paying off, if my loan stayed this, which it won't, it will go up much higher by the time I graduate and by the time I'm really ready to like make payments post residency. But let's say my number was this when I was done and ready to make a real big payment. My interest per year will be around $27,000 just to make sure my loan doesn't grow any further. The last time I posted about my student loans on here, someone commented that I was fear-mongering. But let me just say I'm not posting these loans to like scare anyone from going. I'm not worried that I won't be able to pay them off. I think it's more so interesting that like we are accruing interest on these loans that we have no way of paying back. And we start residency where we work and we make basically minimum wage while our loans continue accruing interest and are required to be paid back, but we will never make a dent in them until we're done. I think that this system is deeply flawed because of those two things. I also think that loan burdens like this and interest rates like this are what is scaring people from going into primary care. We have had such a drop in pediatricians, primary care providers. I think even like emergency med doctors had like a huge drop post-COVID as well. But being a primary care doctor in the US does not pay what it used to when you compare it to the loan burden that these physicians are graduating with. We've seen in studies that the income increase compared to the debt increase are not at all comparable. People are just graduating with so much more debt with just such a minimal increase in their income or their wages per year. Also didn't even touch on the fact that this debt burden doesn't encounter like if you have a hiccup in life or like an emergency, and how in med school often you need to have something to fall back on because these loans cannot support issues that arise, and why going to med school is such a high risk like just situation in general, or a high risk endeavor for people that do not have a strong financial backing or like family support system. That's why I think you see so many people in medical school who are from higher quintile income backgrounds, which I've made a few videos on before. So that was long, but just to show that like this is what my debt situation is like, and that it is not at all uncommon for people in med school to have the same debt burden. I don't think it's talked about on here enough, and I also think I see a lot of people who are in residency or new doctors who are spending like a lot of money and really like, I don't know, living in a different lifestyle than like I will probably be able to live for a very, very, very long time. Absolute no shade to the people that do come from those backgrounds and have that, you know, opportunity available to them to spend more money and, you know, maybe travel a little more and buy nicer things. They're still going through school, they're still putting in the work, and they're still going to be great doctors. I think that the whole point of making TikToks on here is to show a different lens and I guess just show a little more like realistic of what this journey can look like and what the debt and the money and the finances going into it can